order to come to the idea of freedom. Going directly to freedom will be a kind of shortcut and will take us nowhere. The idea of freedom itself is dependent on the idea of right. It is not an independent concept. I think I had a chance, I don't know, a year ago sometimes in Mahfil Ali, some of you were there, to tell you that now, want it or not, we are living under a different paradigm. The Westerners, the Europeans, the modern man, anyway, is living under a new paradigm. I called it paradigm of rights, as opposed and in distinction with the paradigm of duties, which was the dominant and prevalent paradigm in the past. All religions are the offsprings, are the products of the paradigm of duties. None actually, at least the so-called heavenly or Abrahamic religions, none of them are born under the paradigm of rights. The paradigm of rights is virtually unknown at the time. The paradigm of rights is something that has replaced the paradigm of duties. The man who inhabits the world nowadays, according to this paradigm, is a rightful man, a rightful creature. But in the past, he was supposed to be a duty-bound creature. And these two characteristics are very, very essential. Very essential. The definition of man, the essential characteristic, the substantial form, to use some medieval conceptions, the substantial form of man, the definition of man according to the paradigm of rights is that he is a rightful creature. First, right seeking, yes, you may say that. Yes, he is a rightful, a right-seeking person or creature, whereas in the past, as I said, his essential definition was that he is a duty-bound creature. So, rights means that you are independent. Let me remind you that the idea of the right is at least 4 centuries old. At least 4 centuries old. From the beginning of the Enlightenment, actually, we have got this. It was developed. It was in development. And until now, it's, in full flower, one would say. It has got its own history. According to Locke, the rights has been bestowed upon human beings by God. No, this is the middle way. This is the middle way. We are no longer in that position. Now, according to Locke, we are not duty-bound creatures. We are right-seeking or rightful persons, but rights come from God, does not stem from the nature of human beings. It is there. We have got them. We are carriers of rights, but this has been given to us, has been offered to us by an authority, namely God, somebody. This is the halfway. But when you proceed, when you move on from Locke to the modern time, this concept you will find is virtually abandoned. And the rights no longer come from any outside source. Rights are coming, or perhaps are stemming, from the very nature of human beings. We have got rights because we are human beings. It is with us. It is inalienable, according to them. It is like of a weight. It is like of a shape. It is like of a, blood structure and so on and so forth. So it is with us, and we need no other source in order to have them. We are justified in claiming rights. We are justified. Nobody has given us this justification. We are justified on the basis and by the virtue of being a human being. This is very, very important, because according, again, I remind you that the ideas of right and duty are not new. The very concept is very, very old as the concept of justice, as old as the concept of virtue and vice and so on. So everybody knows that, and it is there in the literature of all nations. But the concept of inalienable right stemming from the nature of human beings, this is the new conception, and this is the main pillar of the paradigm of rights. And from here you need a very short move in order to reach the idea of freedom. So the idea of freedom means freedom to exercise one's rights. Freedom to exercise one's rights. So this is the main meaning of freedom in the modern age. In the past, you were a duty-bound, and according to religions, even now, you are a duty-bound creature. You are not free. You are free to perform your duties. You are not free to exercise whatever you think that is your right. So you are free. It means that you are obliged. It is actually incumbent upon you to perform your duties. And apart from your duties, you have virtually no place for maneuver. So not only the idea of freedom stems from the idea of right, but also freedom here means freedom, the right to be free even from morality. Perhaps you have noticed this in the modern culture. You are free to be non-religious. You are free to be non-moral. Freedom from everything. Freedom from whatever that in the past was supposed to be a duty. You know, it is a duty according to religion to be religious. It is not a right to be religious. It is a duty to be religious. It is not a right to be moral. It is a duty to be moral. But for a rightful person, it is a right to be moral. You may or may not, use your right here, or enjoy your right. It is a right to be religious, and so on and so forth. So even freedom here has got a very special meaning, and this particular meaning of freedom is so repugnant actually to the religious mentality that they cannot accommodate it. In a society such as ours, nobody would tolerate you to say that it is my right to be religious, it is my right to be Muslim. This means that it is my right to not to be a Muslim. So right can be taken either ways. It is my right to be moral, and so on and so forth. It is left to people to choose. It is left to people to opt for morality or immorality, and so on and so forth. It is left to people because it's their rights. But according to a duty paradigm, it is not left to you. You have to be moral. You have to be religious. You have to perform your duties, and so on and so forth. And because of this, the idea of law nowadays has become so prominent and so important in the modern time. Again, I have got my own experience in Iran. At the outset of the revolution, I was a member of another committee, and some of ulama also were members of that committee. The subject of the committee was this: why? Exactly the question at issue was this: why our people are so, heedless towards law? Why they do not bother about law? Why they do not take it so seriously? They do not obey the law. The civil law, not the religious law. There were a number of reasons, and causes discussed there. But the main thing is this, that when, as opposed and as distinct